Come on in to my little fireside chat. I posted an article just before shooting this video and I wanted to address it. In the article, you'll read that Sinclair Broadcast Group laid off hundreds across the country. And I am here to confirm that I was one of those laid off. So this happened 3 weeks ago. Why am I just now addressing it? Well, the reason is because one, I wanted to give an opportunity for Fox 26 to address it. I did confirm with them that they received a directive from corporate telling them not to address it and that I could go ahead and address it myself. After that, I just decided that I wanted to just sit with this for a minute. I think I've been so quick to share my personal life, and I've loved doing that with all of the faithful followers that have stuck with me this whole time. But this was a moment I just needed to kind of process and reflect. And now I'm ready to talk about it, mainly because I've received so many messages from many of you asking where I've been and why haven't you seen me. And first of all, I'm so blown away by that. I mean, I've only been in the Central Valley for barely a year. So for so many of you to have even noticed that I'm not there and be concerned and wondering where I'm at and telling me you miss me, that means more than I could even express. Really touched by that, and I wanted to make sure that I addressed it. And rather than write something out, I just wanted to address it personally. That's kind of how I am. I just want to talk straight to you. So in this time of reflection, the first reaction, honestly, I had was that I really hate the month of March. There has been so many challenges in the past few years in the month of March. In recent years, starting with the loss of my brother, breaking news, coming to find out that it was my brother that I had lost in March. And again, grateful to have shared that experience with so many of you. I've connected with some of you on just dealing with grief, and it's been really special. And I so appreciate this little community here on my page. And then we all know what last March was. It was the pandemic, and that turned all of our lives upside down. So I'd made this huge decision to move across the country, and then everything shut down. So all these hopes and dreams and aspirations I had of meeting with the mayor here and networking and stories, and that came to a crashing pause, I guess you could say, because life as we know it had changed. And then this March, on March 3rd, I had a Zoom call saying that the company was doing mass layoffs and that my position was being eliminated. So March has not been good to me. But in reflecting on that, March, of all things, it reminded me of my life verse. I have this life verse. It's from Philippians 3:13, and it essentially says, I don't regard myself as having a hold of it yet, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and reaching forward, pressing forward to what lies ahead, pressing on toward the goal of the upward call of Christ, or upward goal or call of God in Christ Jesus. So, I mean, from that verse, and why it's my life verse, it's just a constant reminder to press on and press forward. And March made me think of that. Marching on, marching on no matter what happens. And then my second reflection is just when life doesn't go the way that we plan, that the best response is the most unnatural one, to be grateful for what we have in the moment. So in that reflection, I just want to say I am so grateful and thankful for everyone that I met here. And it wasn't that many, honestly, because of this pandemic. But for those that I worked with, I know they are such hard workers. And I had more on my plate than ever before, with writing stories and teases and getting it all in there. And Monty Torres and Kevin Raymer I worked most closely with, and they will be friends for life. They are so dear to me. How many times do you get to go and pray with your coworkers? And that's what we were doing, and we were facing such a difficult news cycle and news year, difficult time for news in general. And I couldn't have asked for better coworkers to work alongside in this process. And then Jim Turpin, the news director that really believed in me, and he convinced me to move across the country. And he was so motivating and so encouraging and just a fantastic person. And I know he's going through an out of work situation as well right now. And that's the other thing about this, the perspective that I've gained is that I'm not alone. I know I've been talking all year and reporting all year about businesses struggling, people losing their jobs, people losing their businesses. And I went a whole year talking about it, and I'm just now experiencing it. So I'm grateful that I had all this time of work. And it only seems fair, quite frankly, that I now experience it myself. And boy, is it an experience. I've been working since 10 years old, from delivering newspapers to starting my own babysitting business to the minute I could get a worker's permit. I've worked. I work for a farm boy father, that's who I'm from, is a farm boy father and entrepreneur parents, and so instilled great work integrity. So I've worked as long as I know it. This is the first time I've been unemployed for any length of time. This is the first time I've ever had to file for unemployment or truly wonder what's next. So I'm grateful that this is the very first time, but it also is giving me perspective on how difficult all that is. And so I'm grateful for that perspective and being able to relate to those of you who have also lost jobs and businesses or struggled this past year. And I want to say that I'm getting it and it's not easy, and it will forever change my perspective in another way. Even on the way home from dropping my kids off at church youth group, I saw a woman holding a sign that said, "Mother of 4 kids, just lost job." You know, I'm not there yet. I don't know what lies ahead, but I'm not alone. I know this has been a difficult year for everyone. Not crisis mode yet, so I'm thankful for whatever's next. And in that, again, I have a smile on my face, but I'm a firm believer in that sometimes you just have to smile, even if it's forced. And I've forced myself to smile through this process at times because it's hard. And when you are smiling, sometimes you can feel that joy, even if you're not really feeling it, right? So today, another thing I wanted to share with you is that I was like struggling today a little bit. And I was like, what are you doing, God? Like, what's next? I'm across the country, laid off after a year. What's going on? And he gave me the verse, Isaiah 43:19, I think. You're going to have to check me on that. But it's that verse that says, "Behold, I will do something new. Now it will spring forth. Will you not be aware of it?" So I just need to be patient, and he's going to do something new. I don't know what that's going to be. But that's another thing. It would have been nice to get on here and say, I got laid off, but surprise, here's where I'm going next. But I don't have that to say. I don't know what I'm going to do next. I'm working on it, but I don't know. I mean, and I guess there's like a little bit of an underlying excitement about, what does God have for me next? But it is also scary. And I don't know if it's going to be a month, 2 months, 6 months. I don't know. But I'll keep you updated if you want. So in the meantime, this has been also an identity crisis thing. I've realized that after 17 years working in some fashion in news and TV, that my identity is really wrapped up in that. And now that I don't have that, that's difficult. So in the meantime, I'm going to continue to do what I know. I'm going to share news that I find interesting and try and do it fairly, maybe share news insights, seeing as I might have a little bit more time to do that. And if you're interested, I'll continue to share my unemployment journey, and kind of thought of that as an idea, as an unemployment diary, so to speak. And also, if there are some of you that are also on this journey, maybe we can share with one another and hopefully inspire and motivate each other. If you've followed me for any length of time, you know that I share verses and motivation. And I also want to set the record straight with that when I do that, it is because I need it. I'm not sharing that because I have a handle on it and like, here, you should be inspired and motivated this because I already have this down. No, when I'm doing that, it's what I needed at the time, and I'm sharing because I think maybe somebody else needed it at that time too. So I'll continue to do that, and whatever you think, I'm open to suggestions on how I embark on this journey, and I will absolutely keep you updated on when and if I get something else that I'm headed off to. In the meantime, if you're the praying folk, then keep me in your thoughts and prayers, and let me know if you're struggling with anything, because I think sometimes the best way to handle these things is actually get it off yourself, and I'd love to like motivate or think about someone else, because that's much easier to do than yourself, right? So again, sorry that it took me this long to address. I was absolutely always going to do it, but I just wanted to give some time and reflection and a pause. And I hope that's what this is. I hope it's a pause and not a break, but we'll see. And I'm ready for whatever God has for me next. And I know I didn't do this perfectly, TV quality or anything, but I just wanted it to be one take, off the cuff, authentic, what I'm thinking of in the moment. And I would have done it live, but I didn't want to get interrupted by phone calls or children or anything. So there you go. All right, hope to hear from you, and I will be on my page as much as I'm able to as I navigate everything else. Thanks. Bye.